Hi, I'm Odd Hour. I am your host for Pod Hour, and today's episode we are going to be talking about Yoshis and their history, the many different brands of Yoshis that we've seen over the years, and why certain Yoshis may not show up anymore or why they should. So if we're going to talk about Yoshi in any regard, we need to talk about where Yoshi started. Yoshi's first appearance was in Super Mario World. That's where we got our default green Yoshi that we all know and love. But Yoshi could have appeared in Super Mario Bros. 1. I'm sure by now a lot of people know about that concept art that Shigeru Miyamoto had for Green Yoshi. Or we don't even know if it was going to be green. We have no idea. We just know that Yoshi could have been in Super Mario Bros. 1. It was just an issue of megabytes and not being able to compress enough to have Yoshi in the game. Which is, it is what it is. Who knows what a great 8-bit Yoshi could have been. Now, to counterbalance that for a second, Super Mario World is the first time that we saw it, but there is a version of Super Mario World for the NES. This is the Super Mario World NES edition. Once upon a time, back in my middle school YouTube days, I made 2 videos about glitches in that. It was a ROM back then. I don't know if it was a real thing, but it was very good. It was very faithful to Super Mario World, even if it was a little wonky. It felt like a beta, and I think that's what it was until they decided to shift over to the Super Nintendo. So, that version had a Yoshi, and it worked fine. It was just too early in the NES's life cycle to lock down, in a sense, how to get Yoshi on Nintendo. But, regardless, we got Yoshi on the Super Nintendo with Super Mario World. That's where we got your green Yoshi, that's where we saw red Yoshi, that is where we saw yellow Yoshi, and that is where we saw blue Yoshi. Those are our 4, I guess you would call them starting colors. And what's interesting in that is they're not the basic colors. There's like the primary colors and the secondary colors. Default Yoshi was green. I guess it's just a counterbalance to go with Mario. That was a great style choice in my opinion. But it's interesting that green Yoshi was the one they pushed the hardest as opposed to red, yellow, and blue. Especially given that, the blue Yoshi had the best power in the game. Green Yoshi was subject to whatever shell you ate, whereas blue Yoshi always got wings, which was just easy mode for the rest of the game. And, maybe blue Yoshi should have got a little more love. Player 2 Yoshi ended up being red, again, counterbalancing with Mario, I'm guessing. And then beyond Super Nintendo, beyond Super Mario World, that's when we start getting Yoshi's Cookie and the game Yoshi itself. Yoshi started taking on its own identity, which eventually leads us to Yoshi 64 and Nintendo 64, where Yoshi is not technically a Mario character anymore. Still heavily invested, but similar to Donkey Kong, where they're not a part of the same group as Mario or Luigi or whatnot. I don't know. The Yoshi story is really where things kind of kick off. That's not true. Yoshi's Island is where things kick off. But again, Yoshi's Island, Mario was the main focus of it, basically. You played as Yoshi, but it was about bringing Mario back to the castle to pick up baby Luigi. Yoshi's identity is completely reliant on Mario, but Yoshi, at this point in time, definitely has enough to stand on his own, which is why we have Yoshi's Woolly World and Crafted World. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's go back a little bit. I don't remember all the colors that were in Yoshi's Island for the Super Nintendo. There were a lot. I remember there being a lot and being impressed. I don't remember what player 2 was, but I would be willing to bet that it was red Yoshi. Regardless, all those Yoshis, they might have had different personalities conveyed through the in-game text and whatnot. I don't remember off the top of my head, but the general sentiment is Yoshis were just Yoshis. They came in different colors, they did whatever. There's some comic out there where they were kind of mean to a black Yoshi, which was, a little racist. But, it is what it is. Times are changing for the better, obviously. It's just really strange that was the color they decided to ridicule when every Yoshi is a different color. It's like, oh yeah, that one. That's the one. Good job, Nintendo. Anyway, moving on to, once again, ridiculing a black Yoshi. There was a black Yoshi planned for Yoshi's... Oh my god, was it Yoshi's Story? Is that the one on Nintendo 64? I believe so. And they cut him. Why? I believe there was a purple one too, or it might have been a pure white one. I don't remember. My point is they stole that from us. Not only did they steal another chance to play that game because your lives were dependent on how many Yoshis you had left. Because when you died in that game, a Yoshi was captured. So that's two chances, at least two colors they took away from us. At least two chances they took away from us. I don't get it. I don't respect that decision, but it is what it is. I also very conveniently skipped over Super Mario RPG, which is kind of the first time we saw a Yoshi home world besides like Yoshi's Island. I'm pretty sure Yoshi's Island came out before Super Mario RPG, but anyway, Super Mario RPG is where we start to see Yoshi get like a really prominent personality and like a look at their like his relationship with Mario. When you get to Yoshi Island, you find Yoshi. That's the only place you can see Yoshi. You get a chance to. He trusts you enough to ride on his back because he remembers you and how good of friends you are. You can participate in races, and then there's like a wide array of Yoshis living on the island, including a fan favorite Boshi, who is a dark blue bad Yoshi. Boshi. Naming convention isn't perfect, but it is what it is. It gave us a Yoshi that's not like a hero, like kind of annoying, kind of a jerk, not somebody you really wanted to deal with. So why did Boshi go away? Why couldn't we hang out with Boshi? Why didn't Boshi get more appearances? Some people will tell you that it's because, oh, well, Boshi might technically be a Square Enix character, but it's like they use Mario characters, and the characters that they created specifically for that game, that's fine. But if you're making a Yoshi, that's like saying if they made Wario, Nintendo wouldn't have the rights to Wario right now. Nah, man. Nintendo can do whatever they want. It's a co-copy, and Nintendo can definitely get that from Square Enix. Boshi is not a Square Enix character. And of course, another fan favorite to come out of Super Mario RPG, if I'm not mistaken, is Big Yoshi. Very commonly referred to as Big Yoshi, which is on my shirt right now, which if you're watching on the YouTube version, you will see. But if you're listening, I will describe it. It's Big Yoshi, a very big Yoshi, with a little baby Mario on it. If you're listening, you should find it on Twitter. Maybe I'll tweet it when this episode goes live. What else? Yoshi didn't get a game on the Gamecube. Interesting. You see Yoshi get side character in Super Mario World, star in Yoshi's Island, basically, next to Mario, whatever. Yoshi's story, we get to see Yoshi take the helm. Doesn't depend on Mario. The Yoshis are trying to... I don't remember the plot to that game at all. I don't know. I have no idea what that game was about. Sick. But then Yoshi doesn't get a thing on what do you call it? On GameCube. Next time we see Yoshi is in Super Mario Sunshine. And with Super Mario Sunshine, Yoshi was an unlockable. Yoshi was made out of paint, which is why you don't get that default green Yoshi unless Yoshi is about to die or run out of juice, if you're familiar with that game. The Yoshis were fake. Those weren't real Yoshis. Yoshi made a brief cameo appearance in Super Mario 64 too. We didn't get to ride Yoshi in that, though, which is whatever. Yoshi would show up if you 100% of the game and hang out on the roof. And that was a cool Yoshi. That's like the Yoshi. There's the Yoshi, and then there's Yoshis. And I don't know how often we see the Yoshi anymore. Because, like, if I pulled out this whole spreadsheet on what the Yoshi is, I don't think we see the... That's not true. We see the Yoshi at the end of Super Mario World. Usually they ride a Yoshi home. It's a green Yoshi. I think that because that one can't die. So by default, that one has to be the one that sticks out. And then Yoshi's Island, I think, stars the Yoshi being the default green Yoshi. Of course, there can be multiple default green Yoshis, but I'm talking about like the Yoshi. The same one who has all these memories and knows Mario well. So that Yoshi shows up at the end of Super Mario World, stars in Yoshi's Island, definitely stars in Yoshi's Story, shows up on the top of the castle in Super Mario 64, is probably the green Yoshi in Smash for the sake of argument. But then we kind of stop seeing Yoshi get a personality. Yoshi is just a simple creature, a simple happy creature that just does kind of as he pleases. May or may not be dating Birdo. Like, Nintendo just kind of paired them off, which is, they're a cute couple, don't get me wrong. But, we don't really see much of Yoshi's personality beyond, this is just Yoshi. Yoshi is just Mario but a dinosaur. He's a nice guy, he does what's right, and he doesn't talk. Why did we diminish Yoshi to this level? I don't know. I don't even really care about Yoshi that much. I'm just trying to make a point about why isn't Boshi around anymore? That's all.